Hey guys, this is our current birdhouse. It's pretty small, it's pretty old, and last winter it did not fare well. The roof got ripped off. I'm not quite sure where it went, so now it's kind of left without an actual roof to protect it for the winter, and it's just not doing its job. So I got to thinking about how I've always wanted to have a birdhouse that's a miniature version of the house that I live in, and I think our house is really cute. It's an old Bavarian style farmhouse look, and I thought that'd make an adorable birdhouse. So this is our current house. So I've never made anything like this before, but I thought I should start with cardboard. Cardboard is the easiest material to work with for me, and I knew I could make a fairly decent template for all of the wood parts if I just started with cardboard. So I came up with this rickety structure, and I knew it wasn't perfect, but I thought I could just see how it goes. So I purchased my wood, and I mostly am using this kind of like particle board stuff because it can last out in our harsh winters. And then I bought one piece that's a smaller wood. It's a lot thinner to make the sunroom with because it's such a small, kind of delicate area. So I put all the cardboard onto wood and traced it out, and that way I knew where to make all my cuts with our jigsaw. Even though I have a lot of experience working with tools, I hadn't used a jigsaw in a long time and forgot to check to make sure that the bumper was behind the blade. So a lot of my cuts ended up not being the most straight, and it was kind of frustrating. For a lot of these cuts, I really wished I had a miter saw or a table saw. And this is a scroll saw where I cut out a lot of the windows and doors. And I just want to remind you guys that I am not a professional, and I am not a role model or a safety expert. I know how to use tools. I've worked in many jobs where I've had to use them. I was a machinist for years. But I don't always use like perfect safety practices. I know when I'm being unsafe. Sometimes I don't really care. I kind of like to risk it. What can I say? I'm almost 40, and I just don't always feel like being perfect about everything. It's kind of draining. So save the world, save the comment section. I don't need an education about proper safety. I don't know everything, but I do okay. Once I got my crappy cuts made, I duct taped the whole birdhouse together so I can get an idea of how it looked and if anything looked really off, and how I wanted to drill and glue everything together, like where I wanted to make all my drill points. And my awesome husband has a drill press, which is really nice, and he helped me get it all set up with everything I needed so I could make all of my pre-drilled holes. Since the sunroom is so delicate, I just used a drill bit on a handle and just did it by hand. And then I used a toothpick with wood glue and made little posts. So instead of putting screws through there, everything is joined together by a piece of wood and wood glue. what a great angle. You can't see anything that I'm actually working on. I really need a better setup so I can actually get better angles so you can actually really see what I'm doing. I just have this one really unreliable tripod. Here I just have a Dremel and a sanding drum and just sanding everything. I'm really bummed about these shingles. They only had so many and I didn't realize, and so I did as much as I could with the pack of shingles I had, and when I ordered more, they didn't have any more, so I had to order a different style, and it ended up making the roof look really crummy. So I think next year I'll be re-roofing. These wood shake shingles are larger than I'd like, but I really did not want to cut them down to a smaller size and then try to figure out how to attach them so that they wouldn't go flying off in the wind. So I just left them larger. So these doors look super funky. I also want to remake those, but I was initially going to carve them and I could not get an appropriate Dremel tool to carve them. So I ended up gluing wood to them and it looked pretty junky. I love paint. I feel like paint makes everything look so much better. It makes the project look like it's almost finished even though you have so much more to go. Same here with the doors. Painting them does make them look better, but they're still pretty janky. And continuing with the roofing with the new shingles, I actually think they're really cute. They just don't match the other ones, and I just did not want to remove all the other ones and start all over, but I really do think I'm going to do that next year. I thought maybe I could trim the old rectangle ones to look more scalloped, and thinking about that also stressed me out, so I just thought I'm going to leave it and paint it and see how it looks. But even after painting it, I realize it doesn't look that good. And pretty much the last piece is getting the sunroom in place. I wanted that to be one whole piece of plexi, but we just didn't have enough. I had to use what was left over because we need this big piece of plexi for our bathroom window so we can build a ventilation system, which I'm in the middle of making right now. So I had to take two pieces and push them together, and it's not something you'll see because the birdhouse will be high up, so you probably won't be able to see it from the angle that you're standing at to view the birdhouse once it's in place, but it does still bother me. So I'd love to get it installed, but it is super cold outside and I need another set of hands, and my husband's not able to help me right now because he's injured his ankle. So the birdhouse is finished and I'm really excited about it. There are certain things that I definitely want to change maybe next year. It took me a lot longer to finish than I thought it would. I also had to wait kind of a long time on parts that I ordered for it. I didn't use too many pre-made items, but the pre-made stuff that I did need did take a long time to get to me. So the project ended up sitting for a lot longer than I wanted it to.